Hello everybody, my name is Amelia and I'm back today with 20 free knitting patterns that are inspiring me for spring and summer. Can you believe that it is already first day of spring? I feel like January was just like last week and it is already the first day of spring. And this is a little bit late, like this inspo videos is a little bit late, but you know, better late than never, I guess. So, yeah. But since I started knitting, I have developed this habit where I love to scroll through Ravelry as if it's Instagram. Just to browse pattern. I'm not necessarily buying anything, just to browse and favorite it and put it in my backlog for like, you know, inspo, but it's like my new nightly favorite activity that I do every night before I go to bed now, and it has become a ritual. But beside the point, as I was scrolling like a couple weeks ago, I came across this beautiful all over lace texture pattern, and when I went and clicked to add it to my favorite, I noted that it was free, which got me going down this loopholes of like finding free hidden gems pattern that like we didn't even know, or I didn't even know about. And so I composed this list of 20 patterns that I found that are so pretty for spring and summer, and I decided to share the goods with you guys as well. So I hope you guys find some good inspirations out of this list, and you know, maybe be able to cast on a couple projects without having to like spend any money on pattern. So yeah, let's get started. The pattern that got me to go down this this whole entire process is called the Zucchini Sweater by Hannah Macy Juska. It is a beautiful all over lace pattern, and the thing that attracted me the most about this pattern is actually the yarn combo with the design. Actually, let me just like clarify on that, because I've seen sequins yarn before, and I've seen projects that are being made out of sequins before, and they are really pretty. I don't think I'm a sequin type of person, but the way that this yarn is, it has sequins pieces laced like sparsely throughout the yarn, which when you knit it up from the photos that the designer have on the webpage, it looks really sparkling and pretty, and it just attracts my eye, and I just couldn't stop looking at it. And also the lace texture mixed with that yarn just make it so like beautiful. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just so pretty. The yarn is called Dye Done Sparkly Moha. It's a fingering weight yarn that is made out of 41% nylon, 34% mohair, and 14% polyester. 11% bombyx. The gauge of 19 stitches and 20 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeters. Knitting on a 4mm needle size. And for the sizing, there's only 2 sizing, but the bust circumference is 33.75 inches or 43.75 inches, translating to 84 or 109.5 centimeter. There's not a lot of sizing, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure you can do some modifications to work it out. It does knit bottom up though, so that's the one thing that I don't like is knitting bottom up. I recently found that knitting bottom up is not my favorite thing, and knitting cardigan specifically bottom up is the weirdest experience, because you start with this long tube and it just weird. I didn't really enjoy it. I'll talk more about that one in my next podcast video, so keep an eye out for that. I think if I were to knit this pattern, which I think I definitely will, spoiler alert, it is my one of the 2 that I really hope to cast on for spring, even though it is already spring, but spring lasts 3 months, so it's fine. I definitely would love to use this yarn because, like I said, the yarn to me is like the big part of like why the pattern looks so pretty and attractive. I'm a little bit iffy about the yarn because I am generally a very sensitive person when it comes to mohair, and I do get itchy very easily, and I'm just a little bit worried that I might not match well with that mohair, and especially with like the sequin sparkle and how it feels on skin. So if any of you have ever used this yarn before, please let me know your experience down in the comments. I would love to know before I pick up and start on it. But then it's so pretty though. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a risk that I'm willing to take and try it out for myself. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's it for that patterns. The next pattern I have for you is called the New York Sweater by Alita Virak. It is a bulky weight pattern, and the gauge is 11 stitches and 16 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 9mm needles with a sizing from XS to 4XL. They did not specify what the circumference are on the Ravelry page. It is a beautiful pulled over with like a faux funnel neck that is tied at the neck area and the waist area down here. I thought this reminded me of those like athletic pull over that you could possibly find at like, not necessarily a knit, right? You can possibly find at like Lululemon or Athleta, but I just really like the style. The style really attracted to me, and especially with the way that like the model is like dressing it in the photo with biker short, and which is like that oversized sweater over it. And then I also noticed from looking at the photo is that like the band in the middle, you can customize it. It's a customizable. You don't actually have to put on the words that they have on, you know, on there. You can probably design your own alpha pattern for whatever words you want to put in it. You know, for example, you can actually put the word New York, and in the designer photo, it looks like they actually used put on the name of the yarn brand on there. It is a bulky weight, so I imagine this would knit up relatively fast, and not, especially on a 9mm needle as well. So it would be a really fun knit. The next sweater I have for you is called the Elliot Sweater by Wool and the Gang. This one, I have my eye on this one actually for a little while now, and I don't know why I have not cast it on. You know, I have my eye on a lot of sweater for a long time, and some of them I even bought the yarn for, but it's just been sitting there staring at me, and being a mood knitter doesn't help either. So a lot of these had just been like staring at me, and I've been staring back at it. And I've been knitting anything but things that I said I want to knit. So there is that. But anyway, it is made out of a bulky weight yarn with a gauge of 17 stitches and 25 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 5mm needle size. And then the size is 1 to 4. In terms of measurement, is it 32 to 44.46 inches, translating to 81 to 117 centimeter. I really like the open V-neck line. I think that like with the way that the model wearing it in the photo with like a cute halter top, and it just like peek out through that open deep V-neck line, it just make it so like pretty, and it kind of give that airy vibe. And with a bulky weight, I don't know, with the bulky weight, it might or might not be too hot for spring. Actually depends on where you live. If your spring is on a little colder side, I think that would be a good idea. But if your spring is a little bit on the hotter side, it might not be a good idea. The next pattern I have for you is it's also from Wool and the Gangs. Oh, they actually have a lot of free patterns, so there's a lot more that you guys can go check out on their website for more inspo too. But these are the patterns that I liked, and that I think it's a good fitting for like, you know, spring and summer and stuff. So, but this one is called the Truth Hearts Cardigan. It is also made out of bulky weight and the same yarn called Feeling Good. The gauge is a 16 stitches and 23 row for 4 inches or 10 centimeter in chevron lace stitch. The needle size is 5 mm. And the sizes is the same sizes as the previous sweater, 1 to 4. Measurements is 32 to 46 inches or 80 to 117 centimeter. The design of this is like all over lace with like the wrap style. So it's a true wrap style because you do have like the tie right here. So I would consider this like a cardigan. It is a cardigan, right? And it's just so pretty. I actually really love lace for spring. I feel like lace and spring mesh well because you have like, you know, this airy, like flowy, nice texture for like those kind of leaning towards the hotter summer day. I mean, spring days. But it still gives you enough like coverage, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, I really like this. This is another one that I'm super attracted to and I would love to knit eventually, if not for this spring, but next spring. As for the next pattern I have for you is called the Zippy Cardi by Leah, or Kiss Kiss Rhinestone. It is a DK weight cardigan. The gauge is 20 stitches and 26 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 4 mm needle size. The sizing for this is actually only one size. The designer did indicate in the Ravelry that she has not had this tested and she only knitted it to her own size. But I believe in my advanced and intermediate knitter that you guys will be able to adjust for this. If I were to knit this, I think I would want to go for a solid color with a different color edging instead. Or maybe just a whole solid color. I don't know. I want to make it in a more, instead of like the stripe as the designer have on the pattern, I think I would love to go for something more like basic color, like either probably a gray. If I were to knit this, I would knit it in a gray color, because I think that would just be more neutral for an everyday look that can pair with a lot more things. And also I think this could translate well into like a fall, you know, like those fall days where once again it's not too hot, not too cold, you know. The next one I have for you is called Jaden by Ruby Low. This is actually one of the oldest patterns that I found. It was published in March of 2008. So if that tells you how far I scrolled. I was really looking for those hidden gems. It is a sport weight sweater with the gauge of 26 stitches and 34 rows, but for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a needle size of 3.75 millimeter. The thing that attracted me about this design is it was giving me the baby doll top vibe. The design is like this beautiful square necks with like a, you know, texture like tie at the waist, no, not the waist, but under your bust area, and then kind of flare out at the bottom with like this texture lace patterns that makes it look so attractive. If I had to knit this, probably the modification I would make is to not knit the tie on the elbow. And I also love that it's a mild bell sleeve because I am not a bell sleeve person. Oh, the patterns is not a Ravelry downloadable pattern. It is actually available on a website. So you have to go to the website and kind of look through it on the website and knit. So I hope that is not a downside for anyone. So the next pattern I have for you is called the Oleander by Audrey Borrico. Audrey Borrico, you guys should definitely check out her Ravelry store. She has a lot of free knitting pattern and she's out here doing the Lord's work. Because I think majority, if not all of her patterns are free. And they are not just those, you know, regular symbol. They are very beautiful texture knit type of patterns. And the sizings for her patterns are also really well sized. Like there is a large range of sizing. For the Oleander, it is a sport weight sweater with a gauge of 25 stitches and 37 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter in lace motif. There you go. Needle size is, you knit it on a 3.5 millimeter. And the sizes with the finished bust circumference from 94.5 to 187 centimeter, translating to 37.25 to 73.5 inches. So that's seemed to me is a very wide range in sizes. The next pattern I have for you is called the Blue Porcelain Sweater by Drops Design. It is a sport way with a gauge of 17 stitches and 22 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter. You're knitting it on a 5mm needle. It's like every section is a different lace design, and it's kind of remind me of the Salty Day sweater by Kuto Vakika. So if you really like that sweater, this is a good free dupes if you don't want to buy the pattern, you know? Although, the one thing about Drops patterns is that it might just be me, since I'm still a very beginner knitter, is that I find it a little bit confusing to knit. And I think I attempted knitting one of them before and I could not understand what they were telling me to do. And so I kind of gave up. But you guys will probably be able to figure it out better than me since you have way more years of experience. The next pattern I have for you is the Spring League Sleeveless Hoodie. It is a worsted weight with the gauge of 19 stitches and 24 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 4.5mm needle. The sizing is between XS to 4XL. In terms of measurement, 40.5 to 68.25 inches or 103 to 173.5 centimeter. It is this beautiful pullover hoodie, and it's, you know, like the name suggests, it is sleeveless with the hood. And I really love the design. It's just like an all over stockinette, but the design right at the neckline with that crisscross really attracted me. It reminded me of those Costco pullover. I can see myself wearing this a lot actually for those, you know, once again for those spring days where it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and then you kind of layer like a short sleeve under it or a long sleeve if you want a little bit more coverage. But I really like it. It's just something simple if you want a project that is mindless but still give you that satisfaction. And since it's a worsted weight, it should be a relatively quick knit as well, and no sleeve too. I am really loving hood on sweater and cardigans, and I've been on the hunt for like a really good hood cardigan beside the zippy cardi that I show you guys. And especially if it's like a cable hood cardigans. If you know any of those, please let me know down in the comment below. I would love to knit something like that. Cable hood cardigan. The next patterns I have for you, and this is kind of like part of a set, right? The one I have for you right is called the Chicory Cardigan by Rachel Brockman. And it is another beautiful all over diamond texture type cardigan, but it looks a little bit like a jacket. It is knitted on a DK weight yarn with the gauge of 20 stitches and 27 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, with the knitting on the needles of 4mm. And the sizes available is 2XS to 6XL. With the measurements for that size is 32.5 to 68.5 inches or 82.5 to 174 centimeter. I really like the lace patterns that she has on this, and I think that if I were to knit this, because of the collar, it's giving me a little bit of a jacket vibe. So I think rather than buttons, I would love to do zipper. I think zipper would be really cute for this, maybe. I said that this come in with a pair, right? So the pair for this is it's called the Chicory Tank. It is a top, also knitted on a DK weight with a gauge of 20 stitches and 27 row for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 4mm needle, with the sizes of 2XS to 6XL as well. So same chest circumference, but I like this blue that she has on way better. It's the same lace pattern as the cardigan, and I think this is like together they make a really cute, perfect like set. I love set. I love, like, before I learn how to knit, I always buy knitting set where you have a cute little crop tank top on the inside, and then you have a cardigan that put it over it, and it's just like a statement piece of its own. Or you can wear this like the cardigan separately from the top, but usually when you put them together, they goes better together. But yeah, I really like the the design for this top. The fact that like in the front it's go up a little bit higher and then in the back it's a little bit lower. So it's like giving this really like open back, and it's super nice, and I think this is great for the summer. Oh, I don't think I mentioned in the beginning, but those patterns were like more spring related, and now we're on to the more summers patterns with a lot more tops and more summer pieces that you could wear in the summer. The next summer pattern top I have for you is called the Bram top by Ellen Furterer. It is a DK weight knit with a gauge of 22 stitches and 28 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter on a US 6 or a 4 millimeter needle with the size between 2XS and 4XL. So they did not specify the measurement. So it is this beautiful like V-neck top with like a buttons in the center. So it's giving you this kind of like vest-like style. The thing that attracted me the most to this pattern is definitely the hem at the bottom, where all the waves stitch or scallop maybe, waves, and it's all in pearl stitches. And I was skimming through the patterns, and it looks like those are works in short rows, but I could be wrong. But that's what I kind of like skimmed through and noticed. But yeah. And then the next one I have is called the Sarah top. It is a DK weight yarn with the gauge of 20 stitches per 28 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter. It is knitting on a 4 millimeter needles with the available size of XS to 2XL. In terms of measurements, it is 80 to 120 centimeter, or 31 and a half to 47 and a quarter inches. It is this beautiful triangle looking top. It is reversible, so the designer wear it both way, where the buttons is in the back or in the front. This is knitting bottom up, so I assume that you knit from the bottom up and then you split for like the front and the back, where you do a triangle over here and triangle over there, and then triangle in the backs, and then you connect them with the straps. You know, interestingly, I crochet my cousin something similar to this, like sometime last year, in this similar design. I can see myself wearing this a lot, actually. I did really like the one that I made for my cousin, the crochet version of it that I made for my cousin, and I wanted to make the same one for myself, but I never got around to do that. So I think I might do a knit versions of it instead, because I love knitting a little bit more. So, yeah. The next patterns I have for you is actually another set. It is a top and skirt set. It is called the Toscana shirt and the Toscana t-shirt. They are both made out of Aran weight yarn with a gauge of 16 inches and 26 row for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 5 millimeter needle. The sizes is between XS to 4XL. The top looked to me like a raglan style top, and the thing I like about it, once again, is like the beautiful, like it's more subtle in this one than the Bram top. Is that this one, the wave is a little bit more subtle. It's not deep wave like the previous one. For this skirt specifically, it seemed to be more of a silhouette skirt, so it's like a little bit more tight fitting, and I really like it. If I were to knit it, I would knit a shorter version, since I'm on the shorter side, and lengthy skirt makes me, I don't know, I just like shorter skirt more than lengthy one, especially not mid skirt. I don't think I ever look good in midi, because I either do like all the way floor length or short skirt. Mid kind of makes me look shorter. Maybe that's just my perceptions, but yeah, this is a cute set for the summer. I think it would be like a nice set to go on vacations with, you know, on those days where you don't know what to wear, or you can just wear the top alone too. You don't have to make the skirt. But yeah, the next pattern I have for you is called the Midsommarkrans by Leah Tolsty. It's a sleeveless top. It's made out of sport weight yarn with a gauge of 24 stitches by 34 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a 3mm needle. The sizes is 2XS to 5XL. I love the neckline of this top. It's this just simple lace neckline and then you just have stockinette throughout the whole body. And from looking at the designer photos, it looked like there is like shapings around the bust area and the waist area to give it that cinch-in looks like you know, that the sample has. And it just so pretty. And the way that she styled it, I think if I were to make this, I would style it similarly, because I do have like floor length skirt, but I probably would make it a little bit shorter since I have a really short torso. I think this, but in a little crop versions, would be really, really cute. I really like this. The next one I have for you is also by the same designer. It is the Renka sleeveless top. It is made out of fingering weight yarn with a gauge of 27 stitches and 40 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a needle size of 2.5 millimeters. The sizes are 2XS to 5XL. It is a square neck top, and the thing that attracted me the most about this top is the 3D texture of the leaf across the body and across the back. From closely looking at the picture, it looks like the whole top is made out of garter stitch, and the leaves are made out of stockinette stitch to give it that 3D look. And the same as the strap is also made out of stockinette stitch. This is so pretty. I really would love to have that for my summer tee. The next pattern I have for you is called the Semaphore Vest by Stein Hoelgaard Johansson, I think. It is made out of sport weight yarn with the gauge of 24 stitches and 32 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter, knitting on a needle size of 3.5 millimeter, with sizes available from 2XS to 4XL. I really, really like this, especially for the texture on the side of the vest, both front and I think it's just on the front. So on the front. And the texture reminds me of a Christmas tree. And I think if you knit this in like a Christmas color, you can also wear it for like, you know, the winter seasons as well. And I like the fact that like the ribbing at the bottom is a little bit cinched in from what I can see. And it just makes it so fun. The next pattern I have for you is a very simple stockinette pattern. It's called the Bliss Tank by Alicia Plummer. It is knitting on a sport weight yarn with a gauge of 16 stitches and 24 row for 4 inches or 10 centimeter on a 5.5 millimeter needle, with the sizes measuring from 31 to 69.5 inches or 78.5 to 176.5 centimeter. I think it's like a great basic piece to have, because you can probably also wear this for different seasons as well as a layering piece. So you you have your cute simple top under, and then you can either layer it with like a cardigan. And I think it's a universal top for not just only summer, but also for like, other seasons as well. So one top, but you can wear it throughout the year. So I think it's great. I really like it. It's simple. Oh, that's kind of giving scoop neck, so the back is a little bit lower than the front. So yeah. And then the last pattern I have for you today is the Cintara by Audrey Borino. It is knit on a sport weight yarn with the gauge of 25 stitches and 40 rows for 4 inches or 10 centimeter knitting on a needle 3.5 millimeter needle. Sizing circumference is from 80 to 163 centimeter or 31.5 to 64.25 inches. It is a raglan style top-down top. And the thing that attracted me about this is that I usually see where they do, like designer would do texture patterns on the sleeve area instead, but this one, she does the texture pattern for the body, and then you have a plain stockinette stitch. And I really like it. I also really like the boxy fit for a top. I think boxy fit with a crop top, it looks really cute. I really like that. But yeah, that's what the last one I have for you guys today. I hope you guys find some inspirations out of all of those patterns. Let me know down below which one you guys like, and you know, if there's any that you would love to cast on for this upcoming spring. As for me, I don't think I've told you yet. As for me, I think I want to cast on the two top one that I am hoping to be able to cast on in the next however many months. I think the next 3 months I would love to knit it before summer comes around, so I have it for a summer piece. But for me, the top two that I really love is the Chicory tank and the Sakini pullover. Yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you like those patterns and you know, those gems I found. And thank you again for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.